Faint light after the ashes. The coldness of black and white still clung to his fingertips. On the gravestone, Su Qingyu. Those 3 carved characters were painfully sharp to look at. Lu Yanci knelt in front of the stone. His black suit was soaked through by the rain. The faint scar by his brow stood out harshly on his pale face. He clenched half of a shattered gold pocket watch. His knuckles turned white. A heart-rending sob was stuck in his throat. Yet he could not even say, "I'm sorry," as a complete sentence. The car accident in his past life, Su Qingyu's cold fingertips, Jiang Yue's twisted smile, his adoptive parents' greed. All of his regret crashed over him like a tide. He hated how late he had realized the truth. He hated that he had failed to protect the one who had always leaned on him so carefully. "Qingyu, I came too late." A violent wave of dizziness hit him. The black and white scene tore apart in an instant. In its place was the glittering glow of crystal chandeliers. The champagne tower reflected warm golden light. Amid the fine clothes and polished smiles were nothing but fake greetings. Lu Yanci suddenly came back to himself. The chill of the gravestone still lingered on his fingertips. But before him now was Su Qingyu and Jiang Yue's engagement banquet. He had been reborn. He had returned to this engagement party that once pushed Qingyu into the deep end. Not far away, Su Qingyu wore an ivory suit. His skin was so pale it looked almost transparent. The light sweater collar revealed his slender neck. He lowered his head slightly. His fingers unconsciously rubbed the joint of his left index finger. The old pocket watch he carried made a slight bulge in his pocket. "Thank you all for honoring us with your presence. Thank you for coming to Qingyu's and my engagement banquet." Jiang Yue raised his glass. His tone was arrogant. "Soon, the Su family will be in my hands. Qingyu will also behave and become my Omega." As soon as he finished speaking, a round of echoing applause rose around them. Su Qingyu's shoulders trembled slightly. The clarity in his eyes was replaced by panic. Yet he still did not dare lift his head. He only gripped the pocket watch in his coat pocket tighter. His fingers rubbed it even more often. He did not dare resist. His adoptive parents were watching from below the stage. Jiang Yue's threats were still ringing in his ears. He had long grown used to enduring and compromising like this. "Really?" A cold, bone-chilling voice suddenly rang out. It cut through all the noise. Lu Yanci pushed past the guests blocking his path. Step by step, he walked toward the center of the banquet hall. His tailored black suit made him look tall and straight. The faint scar by his brow appeared and vanished under the lights. His gaze was as deep as an abyss. A powerful, untouchable aura surrounded him. His eyes locked tightly on Su Qingyu. There was heartache. There was regret, and there was a trace of possessiveness even he had not noticed. In this life, he would never let anyone hurt Su Qingyu again. Jiang Yue's expression changed the moment he saw Lu Yanci. A trace of fear flashed in his eyes, but he still forced himself to stay calm. "Lu Yanci, this is Qingyu's and my engagement banquet. What are you doing here?" He had long been jealous of Lu Yanci's family background, jealous that Lu Yanci could always draw Su Qingyu's gaze so easily. Now that Lu Yanci had suddenly barged in, he felt an inexplicable panic. Lu Yanci ignored his provocation. He walked straight up to Su Qingyu. His gaze fell on that pale face. His voice softened without his realizing it, yet it still carried undeniable force. "Qingyu, come with me." Su Qingyu suddenly raised his head. He met Lu Yanci's deep eyes. His own eyes were filled with complex shock. He had never seen Lu Yanci like this before. Urgent beneath his usual coolness. Gentle beneath his sharpness. As if Qingyu were the only treasure in the world. He opened his mouth. He wanted to say something, but swallowed the words back. His fingertips moved even more nervously. His eyes were full of cautious dependence. and a barely noticeable hint of joy. Lu Yanci. Don't go too far. Seeing this, Jiang Yue burned with anger. He reached out to pull Su Qingyu. Qingyu is my fiancé. This is none of your business. Just as Jiang Yue's hand was about to touch Su Qingyu, Lu Yanci turned sharply. He grabbed Jiang Yue's wrist. His grip was so strong it seemed ready to crush bone. Jiang Yue grimaced in pain. But no matter how hard he struggled, he could not break free. Lu Yanci's gaze was icy. A mocking curve lifted the corner of his mouth. He raised his hand and knocked over the wineglass in Jiang Yue's hand. Red wine splashed all over Jiang Yue. He looked utterly humiliated. Your fiancé? Lu Yanci gave a cold laugh. He took out his phone and opened a photo. It was projected onto the big screen in the banquet hall. Young Master Jiang, why don't we first look at the things you've been doing behind everyone's back? On the screen were clear photos of Jiang Yue being intimate with other Omegas. There was also evidence that he had transferred Su family assets and set up secret private accounts. All the guests were stunned. The room erupted into whispers. The looks directed at Jiang Yue were filled with contempt and ridicule. Jiang Yue's face turned as white as paper. His eyes darted around. He tried to explain in a panic. No, it's not like that. This is forged. Lu Yanci. You're framing me on purpose. Forged. Lu Yanci released his wrist. His tone was icy. Jiang Yue, you had private meetings with the daughter of the Lin Group. You misused 30 million from the Su family to cover your company's hole. You even secretly transferred the inheritance left by Su Qingyu's mother. These pieces of evidence, do you need me to show them one by one? Every word struck deep. Each sentence hit Jiang Yue exactly where it hurt. Jiang Yue staggered back a step. His face was pale as paper. He could no longer say a single word in defense. No matter how he thought about it, he could not understand how Lu Yanci knew so many secrets. These were things he had hidden extremely well. Even the people closest to him did not know. Lu Yanci no longer looked at him. He turned to Su Qingyu. His eyes instantly softened. He reached out and gently brushed scraps of paper from Qingyu's shoulder. His voice was gentle. Qingyu, don't be afraid, I'm here. No one can force you anymore. Su Qingyu looked at him. His eyes slowly reddened. His nose stung. He almost burst into tears. He nodded. Like an injured little animal. He carefully caught the edge of Lu Yanci's coat. His fingertips were still trembling slightly. He did not know why Lu Yanci had suddenly appeared. He did not know why Lu Yanci would go this far for him, but he could feel it. Lu Yanci truly wanted to protect him. Lu Yanci naturally took his hand. His hand was warm. It wrapped around Su Qingyu's cold fingertips. It gave him a sense of safety he had never felt before. Starting today, Su Qingyu and Jiang Yue's engagement is cancelled. Lu Yanci's voice was cool and firm. It spread through the entire banquet hall. Anyone who dares target him again will be making an enemy of me, Lu Yanci. I will not let it slide. After saying that, he held Su Qingyu's hand and turned to leave. Behind them, only the ruined scene and Jiang Yue's desperate shouting remained. Once they walked out of the hotel, the evening breeze blew over them. Only then did Su Qingyu slowly come back to himself. He looked up at Lu Yanci's profile. He asked softly, Yanci, why did you help me? Lu Yanci's steps paused. A complex emotion flashed in his eyes. There was guilt, there was heartache, and there was a love he did not dare put into words. He could not tell Su Qingyu the secret of his rebirth. He could not let him know about the tragedy of their past life. He could only say in a low voice, I couldn't stand seeing him bully you, and I couldn't stand watching those people covet the Su family's property. Su Qingyu did not ask any further. He simply nodded lightly and held Lu Yanci's hand tighter. He knew Lu Yanci was lying, but he did not want to expose it. He would rather believe that Lu Yanci was being kind to him sincerely. The warmth from his fingertips finally allowed his long tense heart to relax a little. Lu Yanci brought Su Qingyu back to his villa. The villa was large. The decor was luxurious, yet carried a hint of coldness. The old butler was already waiting at the door. "Your room is ready. You've had a long day. Please rest well first." Su Qingyu nodded. He said, "Thank you." Only after watching Su Qingyu enter the room did Lu Yanci turn and leave. When he returned to the study, he immediately called his assistant. His tone was cold. "Cut off every funding channel of the Jiang family at once. Find out every scandal Jiang Yue is hiding. I want him, within 3 days, to fall from the clouds into the mud. He will never climb back up." After hanging up, Lu Yanci leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. Scenes from his past life flooded his mind again. In that past life, Jiang Yue built his success using the Su family's assets. Later, he joined with business rivals to frame Lu Yanci, and Su Qingyu, in order to protect him, bore all the pain alone. In the end, trapped in despair, he made an irreversible choice. In this life, not only would Lu Yanci protect Su Qingyu, he would also make everyone who had hurt Su Qingyu pay a heavy price. Over the next few days, Lu Yanci acted swiftly and decisively, using what he knew from his rebirth. He struck the Jiang family's businesses with precision. The Jiang family's funding channels were completely cut off. Their projects went bankrupt one after another. Jiang Yue went from arrogant and domineering to a disgraced stray everyone avoided. He hid at home all day and did not dare go out. As for Su Qingyu, while staying in Lu Yanci's villa, he gradually lowered his guard. Every day, he would sit in the yard and sunbathe. He would rub that old pocket watch in his hand. His eyes were gentle. Lu Yanci always made time to stay with him. Sometimes he would talk with him. Sometimes he would sit quietly by his side, watching him. The tenderness in Lu Yanci's eyes could not be hidden. That day, Su Qingyu was organizing his belongings in his room. He took a locked old tin box from his suitcase and wiped it carefully. His eyes were full of cherished affection. He glanced toward the door. After confirming no one was there, he hid the tin box deep inside the wardrobe. It was as if some unspeakable secret was hidden inside. All of this was seen by Lu Yanci, who stood by the door. He frowned slightly. A trace of doubt rose in his heart. But he did not go in to ask. He knew Su Qingyu had thoughts of his own. He was willing to wait for the day Su Qingyu was willing to tell him himself. Not long after, Su Qingyu's adoptive parents came to the door. They wore respectable clothes, with fake smiles on their faces. As soon as they saw Su Qingyu, they immediately stepped forward and grabbed his hand. With tears in their voices, they said, "Qingyu, my good child, how can you be so thoughtless? Yeah, Master Jiang is so good. How can you just cancel the engagement like that? If you do this, how are we supposed to answer to the Jiang family?" Su Qingyu's body trembled slightly. He instinctively stepped back. He wanted to pull his hand free from theirs. His fingers anxiously rubbed the joint of his left index finger again. "I don't like him. I don't want to marry him." His voice was very soft, but it carried a hint of firmness. "What do you know?" His adoptive mother's face changed at once. Her tone became harsh. "The Jiang family has money and power. If you marry him, our Su family can only get better and better. Now that you've cancelled an engagement with him, the Su family is finished. You must come back with us. You must make up with young Master Jiang." "I'm not going back." Su Qingyu shook his head. His eyes were full of determination. "I will never go back and let you control me again. You little rebel." His adoptive father's face turned dark with anger. He raised his hand to strike Su Qingyu. Just then, Lu Yanci suddenly stepped in front of Su Qingyu. He grabbed the adoptive father's wrist. His gaze was icy. A strong pressure radiated from him. "Let me see who dares lay a finger on him." Seeing this, his adoptive mother immediately stepped forward. A fake smile appeared on her face again. "Young Master Lu, this is our Su family's private matter. Please don't interfere. Qingyu is being immature. We will discipline him properly." "The Su family's private matter?" Lu Yanci gave a cold laugh. He released the adoptive father's wrist and took out a document. He threw it in front of them. "Do you think you can still control the Su family? These are all the Su family's debt documents. I have already acquired them all. Now, you owe me 500 million. Either pay the debt immediately, or wait for bankruptcy and a prison sentence." The adoptive parents looked at the documents. Their faces turned white as paper. Their whole bodies shook. No matter how they thought about it, they could not understand why Lu Yanci had suddenly acquired the Su family's debts. Those debts had been hidden so deeply. How could Lu Yanci know? "You did this on purpose." The adoptive father shook with anger. But he was powerless. They could never come up with 500 million. They could only watch helplessly as Lu Yanci took hold of their weakness. "I did do it on purpose." Lu Yanci's gaze was icy. His tone was absolute. "Starting today, Qingyu and you have nothing to do with each other anymore. If you dare come looking for him again, if you dare force him to do anything he doesn't want to do, I will make the consequences worse than bankruptcy." Looking into Lu Yanci's cold eyes, the adoptive parents were filled with fear. They did not dare say another word. They awkwardly picked up the documents from the floor and slunk away in defeat, watching their backs as they left. Su Qingyu finally let out a slow breath. He looked up at Lu Yanci's back. His eyes were full of shock and gratitude. "Yanci, how did you know about my family's debts? Did you investigate a lot because of me?" Lu Yanci's body paused. He turned around and looked at him. His eyes were gentle. "I just happened to know. Don't take it to heart." He could not tell Su Qingyu that these were things he knew from his past life. He could only use this method to protect him silently. Su Qingyu did not ask any further. He simply nodded. His eyes reddened slightly. He knew Lu Yanci must have done all of this for him. At that moment, the joy and gratitude in his heart almost overflowed, but he did not dare show it. He was afraid he was misunderstanding, afraid this gentleness was only temporary, afraid Lu Yanci only saw him as a good friend. Day by day, Su Qingyu in Lu Yanci's villa became more and more cheerful. He was no longer as cautious as before. Once in a while, he would even joke with Lu Yanci. He would take the initiative to make breakfast for him. When Lu Yanci worked overtime, he would quietly bring him a cup of warm water. That night, Lu Yanci worked late. When he returned to the study, he found Su Qingyu asleep on the sofa. He was covered with Lu Yanci's coat. His brows were slightly furrowed, but there was a faint smile at the corner of his mouth. Lu Yanci walked over quietly. He crouched down beside him and looked at his pale cheeks. His eyes were full of tenderness and heartache. Without thinking, he reached out. He wanted to touch Su Qingyu's cheek, but his hand stopped in midair. He did not dare. He was afraid his touch would break this peace. Afraid Su Qingyu would discover his feelings. Afraid Su Qingyu only saw him as a good friend. Just then, Su Qingyu slowly opened his eyes. He met Lu Yanci's deep gaze. He froze for a moment, then his cheeks flushed slightly. He quickly sat up. Embarrassed, he said, "I'm sorry. Yanci. I fell asleep by accident. It's okay. Lu Yanci withdrew his hand. His tone was gentle. It's late. I'll walk you back to your room so you can rest. Su Qingyu nodded. He stood up and followed Lu Yanci out of the study. When they reached the door to his room, Su Qingyu stopped. He said softly, Yanci, thank you. Thank you for always protecting me. Thank you for giving me a home. Lu Yanci looked at him. A complex emotion flashed in his eyes. He said softly, Qingyu, I told you, as long as I'm here, no one can hurt you. This place will be your home from now on. Su Qingyu nodded. He turned and went into the room. He closed the door. He leaned against it from inside. His cheeks were bright red. His heart raced. He knew. He had already fallen deeply in love with Lu Yanci. It had started when they were young. But he did not dare say it. He was afraid he was not worthy of Lu Yanci. Afraid Lu Yanci only saw him as a good friend. Afraid that after he said it, he would not even receive this gentleness anymore. Outside the door, Lu Yanci stood there for a very long time. He looked at the tightly closed door. His heart was full of struggle and insecurity. He loved Su Qingyu. It had started when they were young. But he did not dare say it. He thought Su Qingyu only saw him as a good friend. He was afraid his confession would scare Su Qingyu. Afraid it would ruin the peace between them. Even more, he feared he could not give Su Qingyu happiness. He feared repeating the mistakes of their past life. Late at night, Su Qingyu sat on the bed. He took out that locked old tin box and carefully opened it. Inside the tin box was a stack of unsent letters. There was also a photo he had treasured for many years. In the photo, a young Lu Yanci wore a black school uniform. There was no scar by his brow yet. His gaze was cool, but his head was slightly turned. He was looking at Su Qingyu beside him. A barely noticeable tenderness hid in his eyes. Su Qingyu wore a light-colored sweater. There was a faint smile on his lips. His eyes were full of admiration and joy. Su Qingyu picked up one letter. His fingertips gently brushed over the handwriting on it. It was a letter he had written to Lu Yanci, but had never had the courage to send. Yanci, today you helped me out again. Thank you. I think I'm liking you more and more. But I don't dare tell you. I'm afraid you'll look down on me. He read the words on the letter softly. His eyes reddened slightly. His nose stung. At last, tears fell. He had written all his thoughts into these letters. He had hidden all his affection inside this old tin box. He had hidden it for a full 10 years. Meanwhile, Lu Yanci was in the study. Accidentally found a drawer in the study. Inside were many things from their youth. There was the pen he had lost back then. There was the school uniform he had once worn. There were also notes he had casually written years ago. All these items had been arranged neatly. Anyone could tell their owner treasured them deeply. Lu Yanci looked at these items. Shock and doubt rose in his heart. He did not know how these things had ended up here until he saw a note. On it was Su Qingyu's delicate handwriting. Yanci's pen. It is Yanci's pen. I must keep it safe. I must not lose it. At that moment, a strange feeling rose in Lu Yanci's heart. He suddenly remembered. When they were young, Su Qingyu always silently followed behind him. He always helped him quietly. Whenever he faced trouble, he always looked at him with that careful, admiring gaze. Back then, Lu Yanci had thought it was only friendship. But now, he suddenly wasn't so sure. The peaceful days did not last long. Su Qingyu's adoptive parents driven into a corner by Lu Yanci, actually joined forces with several business rivals to attack Lu Yanci. They spread rumors, claiming Lu Yanci had taken another man's fiancée by force, forced Su Qingyu to cancel the engagement, and misused the Su family's assets. They tried, during the stock price turmoil, to force Lu Yanci to hand over Su Qingyu, and to force the Lu Group into bankruptcy. For a time, public opinion was in an uproar. The Lu Group stock price kept falling. Many partners cancelled their contracts one after another. Lu Yanci fell into an unprecedented crisis. Su Qingyu watched Lu Yanci's face grow more exhausted each day. He watched him become overwhelmed by company matters. His heart was full of guilt and self-blame. He felt it was all because of him that Lu Yanci had fallen into this situation. It was all because of him that the Lu Group was facing a crisis. That night, while Lu Yanci was working overtime, Su Qingyu wrote a letter. He placed it on the living room table. He packed his luggage. Without telling anyone, he quietly left the villa. He thought that as long as he left, his adoptive parents and those business rivals would stop targeting Lu Yanci. The Lu Group would return to normal. Lu Yanci would go back to the way he used to be. When Lu Yanci came back from working overtime, he saw the letter on the living room table. His heart tightened instantly. With trembling hands, he picked up the letter. He saw Su Qingyu's delicate handwriting. Yanci, I'm sorry. This is all my fault. Because of me, you ended up in this situation. I'm leaving. From now on, you don't have to worry about me anymore. Take good care of yourself. May you be safe and happy. May everything go well for you. Left by Qingyu. Lu Yanci shouted. It felt as if an invisible hand had clenched his heart. The pain nearly stole his breath. He rushed out of the villa like he had lost control. It was pouring outside. Rain hit his face. Icy cold. But he did not feel the cold at all. He drove, searching through the city with no clear direction. There was only one thought in his mind. Find him. He had to find him. He could not let him leave again. He could not repeat the tragedy of their past life, seeing Lu Yanci so frantic. The old butler's heart ached. He quickly called the assistant and told him to help search for Su Qingyu. Find Mr. Su, no matter the cost. The rain grew heavier and heavier. Lu Yanci drove through the city. His eyes were full of panic and despair. He remembered Su Qingyu's departure in their past life. He remembered his own regret from that life. The fear in his heart grew stronger and stronger. He was afraid that in this life, he still would not be able to keep Su Qingyu. Afraid that in this life, he would still lose him. After searching for who knew how long, Lu Yanci finally found Su Qingyu. Under an abandoned bridge, Su Qingyu was soaked through by the rain. He was curled up in a corner under the bridge. His face was so pale it looked almost transparent. His lips had turned purple from the cold. He tightly held that old tin box in his arms. His whole body was trembling. Qingyu! Lu Yanci shouted. He immediately rushed over and pulled Su Qingyu tightly into his arms. His voice trembled with lingering fear. How can you be so foolish? How could you leave alone? Do you know how long I searched for you? I was so scared. I was afraid I would never find you again. Su Qingyu leaned against Lu Yanci's chest. He felt the warmth of his embrace and heard the tremble in his voice. All his strength collapsed in an instant. Tears mixed with rain and slid down his face. Yanci, I'm sorry, I didn't want to drag you down. I didn't want you and the Lu Group to fall into crisis because of me. Silly. Lu Yanci gently stroked his hair. His voice was gentle yet firm. You are not my burden. You are my life. Without you, everything I do has no meaning. Those rumors, those crises, I can solve them all. I only hope you can stay by my side. Don't leave me. Okay? Su Qingyu raised his head and looked into Lu Yancai's eyes. His own eyes were full of tears and emotion. He nodded. Choking back tears, he said, Okay, I won't leave. I'll stay by your side forever. I will never leave you again. Lu Yancai looked at him. He could not hold back anymore. He lowered his head and kissed him. This kiss carried regret, heartache, joy, and all the love he had never dared to say. Su Qingyu froze for a moment. Then he closed his eyes and returned the kiss. He poured all his affection and hurt into that kiss. The rainstorm was still falling, but under the bridge, there was only warmth and love. Two people who had secretly loved each other for 10 years, finally, in this moment, broke through the last thin barrier. They told each other everything hidden in their hearts. Lu Yancai carried Su Qingyu back to the villa. He helped Su Qingyu change into clean clothes and cooked ginger soup. Only after watching him finish drinking it did he Qingyu, I'm sorry. Before, I didn't dare tell you how I felt. I was afraid you only saw me as a good friend. I was afraid I couldn't give you happiness. I was afraid of repeating our past mistakes. Su Qingyu looked at him. His gaze was gentle. Yancai, me too. I've liked you since we were young. But I didn't dare tell you. I was afraid I wasn't worthy of you, afraid you would look down on me, afraid that after I said it, we couldn't even be friends anymore. The two looked at each other. In each other's eyes, they saw deep love and joy. All the insecurity and hesitation, in that very moment, vanished like smoke in the wind. The next day, the Lu Group shareholders meeting was held as scheduled. Su Qingyu's adoptive parents and those business rivals had arrived at the meeting early. They thought Lu Yancai had already been pushed into a dead end. He would surely hand over Su Qingyu obediently. He would surely compromise. But they never expected Lu Yancai to appear at the shareholders meeting on time. Dear shareholders, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend this meeting. Recently, regarding the rumors about me and the crisis facing the Lu Group, I believe you have all heard about them. Today, I will give everyone an explanation. After saying that, he opened the projection. On the screen were records of Su Qingyu's adoptive parents taking his mother's estate, along with evidence that they joined business rivals to spread rumors and suppress the Lu Group. Su Qingyu's adoptive parents, for many years, had been taking the inheritance left by Su Qingyu's mother. They had also repeatedly forced Su Qingyu, treating him as a tool for profit. And you? Lu Yancai's gaze fell on those business rivals. His tone was icy. For the sake of profit, you joined forces with them, spread rumors, and attack the Lu Group. Did you really think you could succeed? All the shareholders were stunned. The way they looked at Su Qingyu's adoptive parents and those business rivals was filled with contempt and anger. Su Qingyu's adoptive parents turned pale. Their whole bodies trembled. They could no longer say a single word in defense. Those business rivals also panicked. They had not expected that Lu Yancai had already set a tight net. He had already gotten hold of their evidence. Also, Lu Yancai took out a legal document and held it up high. This is the legal document ending Su Qingyu and Yanci's engagement. As early as 3 days ago, they had already formally ended the engagement. The so-called taking another man's fiancée by force was nothing but a rumor they made up. Their purpose was to pressure me and force me to hand over Su Qingyu. Just then, The old tin box in Su Qingyu's arms accidentally fell to the floor. It sounded. The tin box opened, the letters and photo inside scattered all over the floor. Everyone's eyes fell on those letters and that photo. Lu Yanci bent down and picked up one letter. He saw the handwriting on it. He saw the feelings written there. He saw the photo from their youth. His whole body froze. He looked at those letters. He looked at every sentence Su Qingyu had written to him. He looked at Su Qingyu's gentle smile in the photo. The shock and joy in his heart nearly overflowed. He finally understood. So in their past life it had not been one-sided protection. So Su Qingyu had also loved him deeply for many years. So he had not been trying alone. He had not been regretting alone. Su Qingyu's cheeks flushed slightly. He wanted to pick up those letters, but Lu Yanci pulled him into his arms. Lu Yanci held him tightly. Su Qingyu, I love you. It started when we were young. From now on, I will spend my whole life protecting you. I will never let you suffer again. I will never let you leave me again. Su Qingyu leaned against Lu Yanci's chest. His eyes reddened slightly. Tears fell again. This time, they were tears of happiness. He nodded. Choking back tears, he said, Yanci, I love you too, more than anything. The shareholders' meeting hall broke into warm applause. All the shareholders were moved by their deep love. They admired Lu Yanci's decisiveness and devotion. Su Qingyu's adoptive parents and those business rivals sank completely into despair. They knew they were finished. Not long after, Su Qingyu's adoptive parents, for taking the inheritance and committing business fraud, were sentenced to prison. They ended up behind bars because Jiang Yue had misused funds and cheated. He not only went bankrupt, but his reputation was ruined. In the end, he could only wander the streets. Those business rivals who had joined forces to pressure the Lu group were also dealt with by Lu Yanci one by one. Some went bankrupt. Some were acquired. They could no longer pose any threat to the Lu group. When the dust settled, everything returned to peace. Lu Yanci and Su Qingyu could finally be together openly. They no longer had to hide their feelings. They no longer had to fear anyone's interference. That day, while Lu Yanci was organizing Su Qingyu's old belongings, he accidentally found a diary and an unsent farewell letter. That diary recorded Su Qingyu's journey from youth to the end of his past life. It recorded his love for Lu Yanci. It recorded all the pain and despair he had endured in that past life. That farewell letter was written by Su Qingyu near the end of his past life. On it were the words, Yanci, I'm sorry, I can't stay with you anymore. I know those business rivals want to hurt you. I can only protect you in my own way. I don't want to do it. Please live well. Be safe and happy. May everything go smoothly for you. Forget me. Start over. As Lu Yanci looked at the diary and farewell letter, he could no longer hold back his tears. They fell. He finally knew that Su Qingyu's passing in their past life had not been an accident. To protect him while he was abroad and keep him from being caught up by those business rivals, Su Qingyu had carried everything alone. In the end, lost in despair, he made a tragic, irreversible choice. He finally knew how foolish his regret in the past life had been. He finally knew. Su Qingyu's love for him was so deep and selfless. When Su Qingyu saw Lu Yanci crying, he hurried over and gently hugged him. He asked softly, Yanci, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Lu Yanci turned around and held Su Qingyu Choking back tears, he said, Qingyu, I'm sorry. In our past life, I failed to protect you. I let you suffer so much. I let you bear everything alone. I let you leave with regret. I'm sorry. Su Qingyu froze for a moment. Then he seemed to understand. He gently stroked Lu Yanci's hair and said softly, Yanci, it's all in the past. Don't blame yourself anymore. What happened in our past life was not your fault. I never blamed you. I only wanted to protect you. I only wanted you to live well. And besides, in this life, you have already protected me. You have already given me happiness. That is enough. It's not enough. Lu Yanci shook his head. His eyes were firm. In this life, I will spend my whole life making up for what I owed you before. I will spend my whole life protecting you, cherishing you, and loving you. I will never let you suffer again. I will never let you leave me again. Su Qingyu nodded. He leaned against Lu Yanci's chest. His eyes were gentle. He knew the regrets of their past life had already been filled by the tenderness and love of this life. They would never separate again. They would never miss each other again. Soon, Lu Yanci and Su Qingyu held a grand wedding. On the wedding day, the sun was bright. The venue was full of guests. Su Qingyu wore a pure white ceremonial outfit. His skin was pale. His eyes were clear. A gentle smile rested on his lips. He tightly held that old pocket watch in his hand. Lu Yanci wore a custom black suit. The faint scar by his brow appeared and vanished in the sunlight. His eyes were deep and gentle. He held Su Qingyu's hand tightly. His eyes were full of love and treasure. At last, they had walked this far together during the wedding vows. Lu Yanci held Su Qingyu's hand. His eyes were firm and affectionate. Qingyu, in our past life, I missed you. I let you leave with regret. In this life, I will never miss you again. I will spend my whole life protecting you, cherishing you, and loving you through every storm, through every hardship. I will stay by your side. I will never leave you. You are my light. You are my redemption. You are the only one I will favor in this life. Su Qingyu looked at him. His eyes reddened slightly. His voice was gentle yet firm. Yanci, me too. In our past life, I protected you. In my own way, in this life, I will stay by your side. Together with you, I will face every storm and hardship. I will never leave you. You are my support. You are my home. You are the only true love of my life. Lu Yanci picked up the ring that symbolized the rights of the family head. He gently placed it on Su Qingyu's hand. His movements were tender and solemn. Qingyu, from now on, you are mine, Lu Yanci's. I will give you the status and dignity you deserve. I will make you the happiest person in the world. Su Qingyu smiled. His smile was gentle and brilliant. Under the sunlight, he was like a small beam of light. He lit up Lu Yanci's entire world. Lu Yanci looked at his smile. His heart was full of joy and relief. He finally understood. In this life, he had won his wager against fate, and he had won Qingyu back. Sunlight fell over them. It was gentle and warm. It turned all their regret and remorse into happiness and completeness. For the rest of their lives, through wind and rain, year after year, they would stay by each other's side. They would never separate again. The end.